Have you ever stared at a dream so vast, so seemingly impossible, that it felt like an entire universe stood between you and its realization? Have you felt the sting of failure, the weight of doubt, and the quiet whispers of ridicule, threatening to extinguish that fragile spark within? This is a story about that spark. A story about a young boy named Liam and the unyielding power of a dream. Liam lived in a small, dusty village where the nights were as dark as velvet, and the only light came from flickering oil lamps, a luxury many could barely afford. His home was humble, his clothes patched, but his heart held a brilliance that no darkness could diminish. Liam's world revolved around his mother, whose hands, though calloused from endless toil, always held warmth for him. He watched her every evening, her face etched with weariness, struggling to prepare their meager meal by the dim, smoky glow of a single lamp. He saw the strain in her eyes as she tried to mend clothes long after he was asleep, and the way she would often sigh, wishing for just a little more light, a little more ease. It was in those moments, witnessing his mother's quiet struggle, that a powerful dream began to take root in Liam's young mind. He would build her a lamp, powered by the sun itself, a lamp that would bring endless clean light into their home and into their lives. The idea was audacious, almost foolish, for a boy who had no tools, no money, and little formal education beyond the village schoolhouse. Yet the dream burned brightly. He started small, gathering discarded wires, broken glass, and anything he could find in the village scrap heap. His first attempts were clumsy, his designs rudimentary. He tried to connect wires to small, broken batteries, hoping the sun would magically charge them. He fashioned crude reflectors from polished tin cans. Each evening, with a heart full of hope, he would present his latest creation to his mother, a makeshift contraption of wires and glass, promising it would light up. And each evening, with a gentle smile, she would watch as nothing happened. The lamp wouldn't light. His friends, initially curious, soon grew bored and then dismissive. Look at Liam, still playing with his junk. They would jeer, pointing fingers and laughing when another of his solar lamps failed to produce even the slightest flicker. Why don't you just buy a proper lamp, Liam? Oh, wait, you can't. The words cut deep, sharper than any broken glass. He felt the humiliation burn in his cheeks, the sting of their mockery echoing in his ears. There were days he wanted to throw everything away, to give up, to hide his foolish dream, and pretend he had never harbored such an impossible ambition. The path of an inventor, he quickly learned, was paved with failure and ridicule. But then he would look at his mother, her tired eyes, her hopeful smile each time he presented a new attempt, and something inside him would tighten. He couldn't give up. Not on her. Not on his dream. Instead of succumbing to despair, Liam turned to the only resources available to him: knowledge and wisdom. He spent countless hours in the small, dusty village library, devouring every book he could find on electricity, light, and energy. He learned about famous inventors, men and women who had faced countless failures before achieving breakthroughs. Their stories became his fuel, their perseverance a beacon. He also sought out Mr. Silas, the oldest electrician in the village, a man whose hands were gnarled with age, but whose mind was sharp and full of practical wisdom. Mr. Silas, initially amused by the boy's relentless questions and grand ideas, soon recognized the fierce determination in Liam's eyes. He saw not just a boy, but a budding engineer. He taught Liam about circuits, resistance, and the properties of different materials, sharing secrets of the trade that had been passed down through generations. Liam became Mr. Silas's shadow, absorbing every lesson, every piece of advice, his mind a sponge soaking up knowledge. He continued to experiment, each failure a lesson, each broken wire a step closer to understanding. Then, one day, an extraordinary announcement swept through the village. Mr. Caldwell, a wealthy merchant from the city, known for his philanthropy and keen interest in innovation, was organizing a competition. He sought young inventors from rural communities, offering a generous scholarship and funding for the most promising invention that could benefit the village. The news ignited a fresh spark of hope in Liam, but also a wave of apprehension. This was his chance, but the stakes were incredibly high. Could he truly compete with others who likely had better resources, more sophisticated materials? Doubt gnawed at him, but then he remembered his mother and the countless hours spent learning and experimenting. He had to try. He gathered his worn tools, his collection of salvaged parts, a cracked solar panel from an old calculator, wires stripped from discarded radios, a small, weak LED light from a broken toy. His friends, some of whom had once mocked him, now approached him, their expressions a mix of curiosity and respect. Leo, one of the boys who had been particularly harsh, offered a small, intact battery he had found. "You can do it, Liam," Leo mumbled, a rare note of sincerity in his voice. "We believe in you." That unexpected encouragement, that shift from ridicule to belief, filled Liam with a surge of renewed determination. He worked day and night, meticulously piecing together his final design, applying everything he had learned from books and from Mr. Silas. It was crude, held together with tape and hope, but it was his best shot. The day of the competition arrived, and Liam stood before Mr. Caldwell and a panel of judges, his heart pounding like a drum. He presented his solar lamp, a humble collection of scrap, contrasting sharply with the polished prototypes of other contestants. With trembling hands, he placed it under a powerful spotlight, mimicking the sun. Everyone watched, holding their breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Liam's stomach dropped. Had he failed again? Was this the end of his dream? He closed his eyes, a silent prayer on his lips. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, a tiny flicker appeared in the small LED. It grew steadier, brighter, casting a soft, clear glow across the table. Gasp rippled through the crowd, followed by murmurs of astonishment. His lamp worked. His solar lamp, built from nothing but scrap, and an unyielding dream, finally worked. Tears welled in Liam's eyes as he saw the light, a beacon of his perseverance. Liam won the competition. Mr. Caldwell, deeply impressed by the ingenuity and the story behind the lamp, awarded him the scholarship and promised to help him mass-produce his invention. It was a moment of pure triumph, a validation of every struggle, every tear, every moment of doubt he had overcome. Soon, Liam's solar lamps, now improved and sturdier, began to illuminate homes throughout the village. Children could now read their school books late into the night, their faces bathed in the clean, steady light. Mothers could cook and mend without straining their eyes in the smoky darkness. The village, once shrouded in gloom, began to buzz with a new kind of energy. A quiet revolution sparked by one boy's dream. Liam's story became a legend in the village, a testament to what is possible when you refuse to give up. He went on to study engineering, becoming a brilliant inventor, but he never forgot his humble beginnings or the darkness that had once inspired his first fragile dream. His journey taught everyone a profound lesson, that dreams are not defined by the resources you have, but by the fire in your heart. It taught us that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone, that ridicule is merely noise, and true strength lies in getting up after every fall, in dusting yourself off, and in trying just one more time. So, whatever your dream, no matter how distant or impossible it may seem, remember, Liam, never give up. Keep trying. The world is waiting for your light.